Good afternoon. Let's be rebels and start 4 minutes early. If they tell me off, I'll just... I don't know. What are they going to do, Lily? Shoot me? Right. What's on the list of things to do today? We are... so, at the end of the last stream, I said I was going to finish Yonder Shard stream. I did. I finished that yesterday. There's like 3 quests left and some running around. So, nothing, you didn't miss anything exciting. And then I just took the horse travel from Ceradan to Candace because it's like 20 minutes and would have been terrible viewing. Other than that, I haven't done anything. We don't need boars, we need birds. I currently have a cat on me. Being a cat, aren't you? You are very definitely a cat. How are we all today, anyway? Yeah. I love you. You too. Okay, well, apparently we're stroking the cat now. I wonder when Mori is going to come out for... When do you think Mori is going to come out for Legendary Servers? Because Healing Captain's a bit boring before then. It's good, it's fine as a healer. Just a bit boring. The base healing on like Words of Courage isn't super good. But once you get Legendary, you can... yeah, it gets a lot better. Doesn't it, Kitty? Yes. Because you can get like vocal skills healing, which also affects Rallying Cry. And then like healing over time. Although I've got to be honest, since they revamped Captain, which overall was very good, the healing over time with Captain is really bad. It used to be that you had like a big instant heal and then like a moderate heal over time. Now it's like a big instant heal and like basically no healing over time. Like Words of Courage is... Oh, Words of Courage actually isn't that bad. Rallying Cries, though. It's like 40 to 57 versus that defeat time. And then 2 to 3 morale. Got a lot of nervous energy today, so we're just going to have to be cool about it. Aren't we? Yes. You're making holes in my t-shirt. That's fine. These are just my stream t-shirts, so... I don't really mind. I have nice t-shirts for going out that aren't covered in cat hair. Is that well fun? I have like a walk-in wardrobe place that I put all my clothes to keep them cat hair free. And I have clothes that I just put in a drawer, which because unfortunately when she's got white hair, they stand out really well, don't they? You can just always see the cat hairs. How's everyone doing today anyway? I think I already asked that. I lost. Where's the orc camp? From me. Not too far. We dug too deep, Lily. Dug too deep. It's over there. Is everyone enjoying Mordor? Anybody else playing on the event servers? I am, and the other day, I was playing on my Bjorning, which is like my non-stream character, and literally every like 7 or 8 minutes, whatever the cooldown is, without fail, I would get a Reaper spawn. Not Reaper, that's DDO. A Wraith spawn. Do you know I can't win? Because ever since I started playing on this server, I've been calling Wraiths here Reapers, and Reapers in DDO Wraiths. It's like I can't win, my brain can't cope. We should get a nice spam AoE soon. I think it's 24 or 26. No, I think it's like 2 more levels, I think. 3 more, or 3 more points until I get standalone. 4 more points, so. He sent me messages. Max is. My channel's 2-year stream anniversary of streaming Lotro on Monday. Well, 2 years of streaming in general. So that's fun. Gonna think of something fun to do. I think the actual we're gonna do like a party stream on the Sunday just because Monday's a bit of a. That's lame. Yeah, it doesn't prevent you from death, and the falling damage just isn't. It's not as bad as it used to be, so. One more range drop. But I'll take the virtue XP. Should I switch virtues? I've capped out all my virtues, so I decided just to start randomly leveling loyalty, because I vaguely remember that being a good one. Maybe it was one for resistance that I was meant to take. Remember, someone did say there was another one that's good. This looks nice. Or maximum power. I'm really enjoying the legendary servers though. I really like that they've capped them. I hope that there's not like a massive amount of time between between the expansions, like enough time that I can level up and stuff, but I hope it's not like
What do you need? What do you need?
What's up, Leo?
Greetings.
I'm assuming that Eregion is part of Moria, right? Does anyone know? Hey, Thunder79! Thanks a lot for the raid. How was your stream? I need a messenger. That one will do. Rah! It's a shame they don't add any. Hey! Thanks for the raid. Good, good, good. What did you get up to? My cat is very warm. You are very warm.
How can I be of service? How can I be of service?
These quests are kind of an annoying distance away.
How
I like that person's outfit. The little master. I like that staff as well. They are very pretty. Yeah, I'm on Mordor too. Although the server, not the area. I mean, eventually the area. So far, I've avoided being jumped by a wraith. Though it won't last. They really love me. I still didn't really work out what to do with these, though. The Tattered Shadows. Haven't come across anyone that wants them yet. Yeah, it's a really nice experience. Like, really nice. I even started playing it for off-stream characters. My original plan was literally just to make the stream character here. Because there's lots of people doing, like, low-level stuff and things. But I ended up making another character here as well, just because I was enjoying the no lag so much. Oh, nice. I'm doing well. It's a bit warm here in the UK today, and my cat is also very warm. So she's probably going to have to move soon. Otherwise, I think I'm going to overheat. I'm wearing a very, very appropriate t-shirt today. Aren't I? Right. Well, there's a wraith somewhere. Because there's the wraith thing. Where is it? Oh, it might not be for me. Ah, welcome back. Oh, it's there. Mournful wraith. That sucks. She is very cute. She's blind, so she's pause a lot to see, which is why she keeps pouring at my face. Yeah. You're very beautiful, though, aren't you? Oh, it's gone. You're a good girl, aren't you? I think on my stream, the only reason people turn up is to watch her. You're a very relaxed cat, aren't you? You have all the chill. I think because she can't see, she's not very, like, energetic, but she definitely makes up for it in attention. She really likes belly rubs as well, which is very cute. Isn't it? It's very cute. I thought about getting another one, but I'm not sure how well she'd cope with another one, so I've... Yeah. You have nice warm paws. Unfortunately, the rest of you is very warm too. What's funny though is we have a bit of disagreement because in the winter when it's cold and I want to hug her because she's warm, she doesn't want to hug me because I'm not warm. And in the summer when I'm super hot and just want to be left alone, she wants to hug me because I'm super hot. You just see humans as a source of warmth, don't you? What? I need both my hands. What class did you decide to play? You need brushing. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Play burglar. Ah, hobbits are the best. All my characters are hobbits except my Bjorning for obvious reasons. But I love the hobbits. They're so freaking cute. And so are you. Yeah, you're a very tired girl though, aren't you? Yeah. And reposition maybe. You can just lie on my legs rather than... I'm really interested in what the next expansion is going to be. I'll play on stream on my main captain. I have a level 150 Hobbit captain on the live servers. But I really love captains, so... And I thought if I'm going to do like an official stream, I should probably do it on a class that I actually know how to play and give advice on. I thought about making a Bjorning, but I don't know how to play it, so... if people wanted advice and stuff, I can't really offer any. Whereas captain... Unless you want to be a tank captain, because I've never played tank captain. I don't enjoy tanking in general. The only game I've ever tanked in is Final Fantasy XIV. And that's just because I love paladins. That's why I play captain. I just love the like melee healer paladin style. And the Final Fantasy 14 paladin gets a lot of heals, so you can kind of they get like a group heal, a single target heal, so you can really help out the group. I actually also really enjoy the Warden though. I want to try the Mariner. I made one when they first came out, but it was very buggy. So I kind of went off it a bit. And then the expansion came out, and I wanted to play my captain. Never defeated Ventus. One thing that's kind of annoying about Captain at low level is you don't get that many crits with like Devastating Blow, and therefore you don't get many defeat events, which means it's harder to keep up like routing fire and stuff. How many points have I got? I'm saving up to get the Hobbit Herald. Oh, I've probably got enough now. I was going to buy some Lotro points, but I missed out on the bonus points out. Yeah, and the thing is that the reason why I recommend Mordor at the moment to people, or Arnor if you're... Is it Arnor? I don't remember what... Angmar. Is because if you haven't... Even if you've not played in a while, if you've missed expansions, it's a good opportunity to... like experience the different level caps when there were level caps. So it's a much like kind of slower pace, but because there's so much content, because the expansion released on a much faster scale, and we get all of the patch content in with the original release, it doesn't like slow you down as much as you think because there's so much to do. But yeah, if you need any help or advice, I can't really help with burglar specific advice unless you happen to play the Gambler, because that's the one I enjoy. Excuse me, that was rude. Yeah, exactly. But you've got all of the... I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the 1-50 game for what it was at the time, but I do prefer the game now. All things considered. There are some little things I don't like. I don't like that Captain lost most of its defensive stuff from base Captain. Like, Captain doesn't have any cooldowns now that they can use on themselves, unless you play yellow, which is a bit weird. Because even, like, Shield of Dunedain can't be used on yourself. I don't really understand why. Moving it to blue, that was the good call, because it was ridiculous how tanky captains were. But over the years, they've nerfed the captain's self-defense stuff so much. I don't think there's really much argument why Captain can't just heal themselves like normal. Yeah, Blue Burglar is my favourite. I just really enjoy that. I like damage over time gameplay, like a lot. So there's that, but also
what do you need?
I like the random aspect. I'm really hoping that when the burglar like revamp comes along, Blue's really made to be. The other thing as well, though, I'd say, so it's that also, but I can't stand stealth gameplay. I just don't enjoy it. I just don't. I like to charge in and murder everything. So I don't enjoy stealth gameplay. The stealth is kind of useful on the burglar for other things, in a sense. Back in the day, it was really useful because things took a lot longer to kill, and to be able to stealth past stuff, especially if you'd cleared an area. There's some examples in Mirkwood where stuff respawns really quickly. A good example is there's some quests. Where are they? Is it here? There's like where you're fighting like the bat people. Blue Hobbit Hunter at the moment. Hobbits are the best. They are by far my favourite race. I really like High Elves and I really like the Bjornings. I don't really play humans in games. I'm a human in real life. I don't need to be a human in games. The exception to that is DDO. I play human sort of semi-often in DDO just because the extra feat is really useful. Same like Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I pick human a lot if I'm playing like a hybrid because the extra feat is useful. What level have you guys gotten to? Just a random bird there. It's cool. I haven't tried birding yet. It sounds... I'm getting... Sorry, SSG, but it sounds dumb. Like, I just don't think it sounds fun. I wanted baking. I thought baking would be cool. Like, imagine this, right? As a hobby, baking. So, it makes food, but, like, it's bound food. You can only use it on yourself, right? You can't trade it, you can't sell it. But it doesn't give you stats or anything like that. It literally just increases your, like, out of combat regen, but for, like, an hour. So, like, whereas food's, like, really strong and, like, but relatively short duration, like 5 minutes, the baking stuff would be only give you, like, out of combat health and mana regen, but, like, for, like, an hour. And maybe you could make it so if you add different ingredients, it gives slightly different, like, effects and stuff. So it'd be a lot weaker than, like, cooking food, but it would be, like, more designed for, like, landscape play, where, you know, having food that lasts an hour is really beneficial compared to, even if it's a bit weaker. That's what I would do. I think that would be a fun hobby. I also thought furniture making. That could also be a fun hobby. It would also add a secondary use for wood, which would be good. Speaking of crafts, I should probably probably try and get my jeweler. The problem is barrow iron. I haven't got very much barrow iron. To this one. Because I went from Bree to Yondershire.
How can I be of service?
I am sort of a little bit regretting taking both Metalsmith and Jeweler, though. It's a lot. My original plan was to do Jeweler, mining, and then cooking and farming. But buying a 4th crafting slot was really expensive. But I really like cooking in games. Want to go to Yondershire to get a goose pet? I need Bjornings in the house. Yondershire is pretty straightforward. The goose quest is very funny. I know a lot about Bjorning if you need advice. Unless you tank. I only know about healing and DPS. I don't really know about... that's true of every class. I just don't enjoy tanking. I don't really enjoy DPSing. I like healing. But, you know, you have to DPS in some groups, so... They might already have healers. Steal this torch. Back in the day, you used to have to be really careful, because classes didn't have a lot of AoE. It was really just champion. And Lawmaster to a lesser degree. I guess I don't actually need this yet. Now you can just AoE everything. What's up, Kitty? Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Just be careful. Just be careful. And if you try and jump on the bed from that, I'm going to be annoyed. Because you always forget which direction the bed's in. She already had to, like, once do that, jumping off the wrong side, because she wanted to jump on the bed, but forgot which direction the bed was in. It happens sometimes, doesn't it? Especially when you get excited. Yeah. We can lie up there if you want. On the Bjorning. much more bears better. Yeah, you can just play as man. 100% you can just play as man. Later on, it gets a little bit less viable because the bear's more bursty, and so especially if you're fighting like groups of enemies that are like signature and stuff, it can be useful to be bear. So that's a bit of a pet peeve of mine that you can't pick stuff up in bear form. If you can mine on a horse, you should be able to pick stuff up as a bear. Sure, it might not make much sense, but mining from a horse doesn't make much sense. I think gameplay should come out. The other thing they could do as well is in DDO, if you play a shapeshifter, if you want to interact with something or whatever, you just like there's just an animation of you going out of your shapeshift, using the item, and then going back into it. They could also just do that. Like you just like rather than you having what? Yeah, that's a good go. Rather than you having to do it like manually. But yeah, no, it does get a bit tedious going back and forth. I completely agree. I'm surprised that that wasn't changed when that wasn't changed when. Yeah, I think auto makes. Yeah, exactly. I think the auto would be much better. Bye, Bub Hush. You will be missed. No, you can't lie there. No. Come on. Where's the other? Yeah, you've got to be good. You're gonna give me a little heart attack if you keep trying to jump off things. Yeah. My little heart can't take it. But yeah, so in DDO it works nicely that you just have like an animation of you kind of like you still see like the bear, but it fades out, and then your character just interacts with the item, and then your character fades out and the bear becomes whole again, or wolf, or elemental, or whatever you happen to be. But no, I 100% agree. That's a pet peeve of mine too. Especially if you have multiple gathering. Champion Hobbit. No, I'm a Captain Hobbit. No problem. Champion Hobbit is very fun as well, though. The only downside to Champion Hobbit, I would say, is that you can't get clubs as a champion weapon, or at least you couldn't. Maybe you can now, but you couldn't. So you lost out on the racial damage bonus. Although I'm a River Hobbit, not a regular Captain. Captain, it doesn't matter because Captain gets halberd damage. As being a Captain gives you 5% halberd damage, and no race gives halberd damage, so it ends up the same. I think, technically speaking, if you're playing a DPS or a tank, I think human is a better choice. I think as a DPS, maybe high elf. Excuse me, high elf's a better choice. However, since I play a healer, River Hobbit gets increased will, and will gives touch cool. So it's a viable option. Yeah, I was really happy when they added it. Like, really happy. I've played Captain a lot, so I don't think my my experience of Captain should be considered oh no, odd levels. Don't have my AoE yet though. I believe the Captain gets an AoE at 24, at 26. Are we done? Oh no, I have to kill the boss. Charge! Yeah, I don't have anything particularly special, just I am using Before the Shadow stuff though, which is like particularly well suited to Captain because it increases crit a lot, so I get a lot of defeat events. The reason why I'm focusing on crit is solely because of the wraiths. They hit quite hard. I've got quite good tactical mitigation now, so they hit less hard. But when I first hit level 10, I had real problem with them, so I decided just to maximize crit. That way, there was more chance of devastating blow critting, especially when you combine it with like this and this. That way I get defeat event like mid-fight. The other thing I often do as well is just pull a random enemy and kill it. Because Shadows of Lament can one-shot most regular enemies, so... That way I can grab the healing from that. But I think Captain's actually a really good choice for Mordor, so simply because it is so good at landscape. Because the thing is, even if, like, let's say there's something that's too hard, I can just switch to my second spec, which is healing, and basically become immortal. Yeah, the damage is less, but it's like, nothing's really timed. It's not like there's a... I mean, yeah, you've got a 10-minute timing on rates, but the damage isn't that bad. Once you get to much higher levels, you can make a solo spec for Captain, which incorporates this, so you can use Word of Courage on yourself, which makes it very strong. But there's not enough points on Mordor to do that yet, so you have to... I think technically, if you know how to play it, I think yellow might be a better option for like soloing raids, due to what's it called? This one? No, this one. Strength in numbers. But I don't. And I don't enjoy it, and I don't intend to buy a third slot, so... But yeah, I'm not using anything. The weapon's just a random crafted weapon. Like, just not even a crit weapon, just a random that someone in the guild made me. But I mean, like, it's actually not that much an upgrade over the Captain's Halberd, which I think I already sold. But the Captain's Halberd is like 2 less damage. I think it's 12 to 16 instead of 14 to 18. I just wanted a sword.
What do you need?
No, I should pick something. I don't need any of this.
What can I do for you? Greetings.
Let's go. See you, Candace. Until next time. What is my crit rate? 17.8% before the this. This doesn't get counted though. The other thing as well is, okay, I've got 2 big pieces of advice. This increases melee damage by 25%, which is why you'll often see me do like Battle Shout, Sure Strike, Shadow's Lament, and like the Cutting Attack, Grave Wound when I get it, before I do Devastating Blow and Blade of Elendil. Because Devastating Blow, and sometimes like I'll often do like Battle Shout and then Devastating Blow and then heal because you get a bonus to healing. Figuring out those things makes a huge amount of difference on my Captain. Being able to do it without thinking is just huge. The same with like on Wraiths, using Battle Shout and then using Cleanse Corruption, because it goes from a 15-second cooldown to a 5-second cooldown. Knowing these things really makes like a massive difference to how much damage you do and how not efficient, what's the word? Effective. Broken Wooden Maces. What else we got? We got Blackened Sword Sheets. Let's just turn these in. Do I have 10 of anything else? No. Just turn these in then. But yeah, that's my biggest advice for Captain, is to really learn how to effectively do the rotation.
Can't you leave me to my misery? Woe
Right, Radagast.
to me.
Radagast wants
I'm
us.
sorry to trouble you,
But we'll wait.
will you help me? Can't you leave me to my misery?
Okay, we'll pick all these quests.
I'm sorry. Did you need something?
We will pick up all these quests as well. Just gonna do
Not
the
imaginable
tasks first
different
before my...
common room than the ponies. This is a still and silent crowd, except for those two.
My other piece of advice, I would say,
I have had
for the
a
game in
great
general, is do the
idea.
bingo line. There are a few places in the game, although less on Mordor. One of the biggest benefits to doing the bingo line is that you get into Lothlorien for free, because bingo gets permission because of Will and Whisker. Gets permission to enter Lothlorien, so do you. Without doing the favor grind, which on live servers is a big skip of time. On Mordor, it makes no sense because you're going to be doing that stuff anyway. Because it's like the old end game, but
Can't you leave me to my misery?
that's
I'm
the
sorry.
big piece of advice I would say.
Did you need
Also, you get some cool pets and stuff. I'm less bold about that, though I do like the Will and Whisker pet specifically. Obviously, you can only go to
I'm sorry. Did
well,
you
a Regian, but
need
not a regular.
something?
Right, we can pick all
I
these.
don't know if you can help me.
We did done the weekly tasks.
Don't know if you can help me. I'm sorry to trouble you, but will you help me?
Need to
Don't know if you can help me.
Would you do something for me?
need to turn on difficulty
Would you
mode to
do
farm
something for me?
tokens because I don't
Can't
have
you
any for
leave
this
me
week.
to my misery?
Not doing that.
I'm sure it will do no good, but may I speak with you?
Yeah, speak with you.
Might I take a moment of your time?
I'm sorry.
That
to
guy
trouble
can't decide
you,
what his
but
accent
will you
is.
help me?
It's like, is he Scottish? Is he Irish? I don't think the voice
I'm
actor
sure
knows.
it will do no good, but may I speak with you? Might I take a
But yeah,
moment of
learning
your
about
time?
the different battle states
sure it will
and
do no
using
good,
those to the
but
best
may I
advantage,
speak
honestly,
with
is
you?
my number one tip for new captains that want to be, like, effective. Another thing you can do if you, while you're learning, what I did on live service when I made a new captain, that I played on stream, leveled on stream, is, you can set the abilities. So like I've got short strike set here, so I always do battle strike, short strike. But what you can do is you can do like put like Shadow's Lament and these here, and then just go down your bar. That's a good idea, I think, if you're wanting to learn. But yeah, the bonuses are really big, like 25% damage, 25% healing, minus 10%. The minus damage is nice. It's like if you're tanking, you pretty much want to stay in this, and like healing, you want to stay in this stance all the time. You very rarely break it for this. Once I can't do it now because I only have one opener. Once you've got two openers, you can actually keep up both of these buffs permanently. So what you do is you do Battle Shout and Devastating Blow, and then you do Short Strike, or Defensive Strike, whatever it's called. Which opens up, so then you're in both Devastating, in Battle Hardened and Battle Readied. And then when your Battle Shout comes off cooldown again, you do Blade of Elendil, and then you do Devastating Blow. And then you do Battle Shout again. Where's the guy? This way. I don't have the second opener yet, so used to be a lot more not difficult, but back when Shadow's Lament was the second opener, it was a lot more lame than it currently is. They made it a lot better in the with the Captain revamp. What's this quest?
I don't know if you can help me.
That's crafting. I was like, I don't recognise that quest.
Stay a moment.
It's a sorry day. I'm sure it will do no good, but may I speak with you?
I'm sure it will do no good, but may I speak with you? Might I take a moment of
I
your
think we've got all the quests
time?
now. Yeah, that's just that. Where's the bingo? Bingo buffing one. That's before Shadow. Doing that off stream. There we go. We'll do that first. Just while I remember. But yeah, the other downside to doing cooking on your main character at the moment, at least for me, is that I don't have any carry-alls. So it means it wants to stay in the inventory or the bank, which is a lot. So it's just a shame because I really enjoy cooking and farming, but I'll just do it on a mod. It doesn't need his inventory for anything else. Oh, hey Wraith. They hit really hard, even with the vertical. Gathering, prospecting, forestry. I don't think it should be gathering, but it's definitely a good or a viable option. What would I say? I would say do prospecting, forestry, and then whatever your main armor type is. That's my honest advice for first character. So, like, if you're a Bjorning, then you'd want to do prospecting, forestry, and metalsmith. That way you can make money and also... But if you don't want to, you could do Scholar. Where's Weathertop? There. Yeah, unless you want to invest in a carry-all on the main servers, I would recommend just doing farming on an alt. Is that an alt camp? I think it is. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. I did manage to successfully slide. I didn't really want to come down here though. I guess it's not the end of the world. We can just do this. Bit of a weird order though. It's actually been a while since I did Lowlands, because these days I tend to do before the Shadow. It's just not everyone had it, so I wanted a more reasonable leveling path. I'm very stuck in my ways, unfortunately. I've played so long. Although, to be honest, I actually think maybe as a new player, Before the Shadow is not a good option, because you don't get as much virtue, and so unless you like know to go to like other zones and do. You just got the story. Oh, it's so the story kind of you're following alongside the story of Lord of the Rings. You're not. You catch up eventually and you're part of it, but the original like 150 story, you're kind of like behind the Fellowship. Once you get to... Where does it catch up? So you catch up in Lothlorien, but then go separate ways because you go to Mirkwood. I want to say, and then Dunland. Is it Rohan? I think Rohan, and then after Rohan you just follow along with the main story. Can I see this guy wants to do this quest? The story is very good though. Even if you know the story of Lord of the Rings very well, there's still a lot of new stuff, and it's really nice to see how the world kind of like links together. And because like obviously in like the Lord of the Rings, even in the book, it's very fragmented in terms of you know, they'll spend 3 days traveling and it'll be skipped. Whereas here you can actually see how all the zones interconnect and yes, no. So it's the start of the game is after the Fellowship leaves the Shire. You meet up with Strider in Bree when they're staying in Bree, and then they leave before you do. So like now we're following after they've already left Lone Lands, so Weathertop and stuff. because you see like the fragment of Gandalf leaving the stone and stuff, and Strider's already left by the time you come back from Barrow Downs.
You startled me. I don't know if you can help me.
But it does catch up once you get to like Rohan and like Helm's Deep and stuff. Then you pretty much just follow along with like Legolas, Gimli, and But after the ring's destroyed, the story continues. So you fight your way through Mordor, and so you fight your way through Mordor in the different zones, and also we've been to where the pirates come from, Umbar. And then the next expansion is going further into the Southlands. So it's called Legacy of Morgoth. I assume we're going to be dealing with the Dark Cults and stuff. But it's basically Aragorn's reconquest of the sort of historic Gondor lands. I'm actually not sure, to be honest. I've never played this free to play. You can do the entire story, but I don't know how reasonable it is to actually only level up with the story. But you can. The whole story is free, so you can do the whole main story. You also earn in-game points for doing deeds, and some quests give them as well. So you do deeds like kill stuff, and you get Lotro points, which you can use to unlock content. So that's also something to sort of be factored in. But you can slowly unlock stuff. I mean, unless you purposefully farm that stuff, it is going to be quite slow. But there's so many deeds in the game that yeah, there's so many deeds in the game that it's not really a big problem. But yeah, I don't know how reasonable it is to... I have all the content, so I get quite a lot of points from leveling a new character. I don't know how you'd go as... Because I don't off the top of my head know what's free and what's not. But there's a lot of the original game is free. Yeah. I mean, give it a go. If you like the Middle-earth world, I definitely think, if nothing else, it's nice to be able to experience it kind of from the ground rather than... Yeah, I was going to say, I think there was a YouTuber called Louis... I want to say Louis 7. I'm sorry if I get that wrong. He also did that and said... if you want to play on the server I'm on, though, the event server, you need VIP. Which also gives you, like, the mass proportion of the content. I think it's only literally the latest expansions that you don't get. And I would recommend the new server as a new player, because it's, like, locked. So, currently we only have the base game, and it gives you a really good opportunity to experience stuff. I mean, we're a lot stronger now than we were back then, so I can't say it's going to be, like, an accurate representation of how things were. However, it will give you a chance to experience like the old content and stuff in a kind of time-gated way. But the at least previous servers, the rate at which they release new content is pretty like reasonable. So unless you sort of hardcore do everything, you know, it's unlikely you'd get everything finished before the next one's unlocked. But it's viable to do it if you do have a lot of time to play. Where are we going next? We need... Do we still need some goblins? No, that's full. I'm guessing that's Hunters Become the Prey. Yeah. Let's cancel some of these quests that I've already done. Try fluffing the pillows, blankets the thing. Okay, cool. So I would recommend that, but you do need VIP. Excuse me. It's my mentor. Yeah, I definitely think you should. If you like Middle Earth and stuff, then it's a really good representation. I'd probably say it's one of the most faithful games they've made. There have been some other really good ones as well. Ironically, Lego Lord of the Rings is also very close to the source material, or at least as close as the movies were. But they take a lot of care to try and make things fit. There is some stuff that you have to kind of overlook. You know, in the Lord of the Rings, there weren't thousands of hobbits and elves and dwarves running around doing quests for people, but that's true of every game. I'll go this way. Yeah, I was going to say, so that's what I was going to say before I kind of interrupt myself. The thing you got to remember about these people, the streamers that play completely free to play, is that they're not just playing normally. The best way to farm Locho points is literally just to do the 3 starting zones over and over again. Which, if you're a brand new player that's not played the game, you will burn out incredibly quickly. It's a really horrible idea. Like making a new character to do one of the to do some questing to get a few extra points to buy something, sure, that's fine. But the most efficient way to make points is to just do the 3 starting zones because it's all very easy. But yeah, you will burn out doing that. You can make a fair number of points just playing normally because so much of the things that you do in the natural course of gameplay gives points. But a lot of for example, Slayers, once you get to Troll Shores, start taking a lot more stuff. Everdom and Troll Shores, really, the kills start to stack up. If we ignore Yondershire, which is ludicrous how many kills you need for Yondershire. It's like 300 per thing. Yeah, I've actually got 3 different versions of the audiobooks, funny enough. I've got the BBC did a fully dramatized radio play. Really good. Put in a lot of stuff that the movie skipped, like the wargs attacking in Eregion and stuff. Had the guy that played Bilbo in the movies playing Frodo. Was very well done. So I have that one. I have one that I've had for ages. A guy called Rob Inglis reading the books, and then Andy Serkis recently did one, and he's an amazing voice actor. He does all different voices for the people, and it sounds so freaking good. He's even pretty good at doing a female voice. He's such a good voice actor. I think he's massively underrated in terms of his voice act work. I know everyone knows him for Gollum and doing the motion capture for Smaug and stuff, but his voice acting is amazing. Also, he played Alfred in that weird Batman movie. So, but yeah, I recommend that one if you want the audiobook. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Archprincess. I fully agree. He is. But yeah, so if you're wanting a copy of the audiobook, I strongly recommend that one. I think Amazon made it. I think it might be Audible exclusive, but that's where I get my audiobooks anyway. How do you get up to there? I remember. You have to go up the way with the dots or this stuff. But yeah, no, he's really good. So he even sings the songs from the movies and stuff, which is really good. Well, he sings the songs from the book. Also, side note, it's surprising how many songs are in The Hobbit. It's almost a musical. Because in the original audiobook that I had of that, the guy just reads them like they're poems, which works really well. That's fine. But it wasn't until Andy Serkis started actually singing it that I realized how many songs there are in The Hobbit. But no, so I recommend that one. The Rob Inglis one is really good, but he's not very good at voices and stuff as much as Andy Serkis is, so it can be some of the Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit, it's fine. I actually think possibly I prefer his Hobbit. But in Lord of the Rings is very wordy at times, and his way of talking can be a bit sleepy-inducing. So yeah, I have 3 versions of them. The play is I used to listen to that while driving because it's less monotonous and it was keep me in thing. But it's like the movies; it skipped bits and though it's a lot longer than the movies. So I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't say I loved it. My opinion is that if you just take it as like a general fantasy thing, I think it's fine. It's not like, it's not going to win an Oscar. I mean, it can't win an Oscar, it's a TV series, but it's not like Oscar-winning performances. But I also don't think it was the worst thing ever made, right? I mean, I liked it more than The Acolyte, which is not saying much. I didn't hate The Acolyte, it had a lot of problems. The Rings of Power I actually didn't hate, but I don't think it was great either. However, I will say the second season of Rings of Power is a lot better. Like, a lot better. I was genuinely surprised how much more I enjoyed the first few episodes available of the second series compared to the first. But a lot of the problems I thought with Rings of Power were really nothing to do with the story. I hated some of the... Galadriel going around acting like a teenager made no sense. She's thousands of years old. She's well past... acting like a petulant teenager. I mean, in the books, by that point, she was already married and, like, ruling over Lothlorien with Celeborn. So, I'm not really sure why they just made the need to turn her into, like, a angsty teenager. Like, going into Numenor and, like, when it just made no sense. In what universe would anybody in that situation decide that anger was the best way forward? Like, that's not even just... Like, nobody... Even in real life, if you wanted a favor from someone, you wouldn't go in being angry. It makes no sense. But I thought the acting was good. I really, really liked the guy. Oh, not so much hers. I really liked the guy playing Elrond. I thought he did an excellent job. Same with Celebrimbor. I think the guy playing him, although he's not very elfy looking. I have to say, there's so many pretty boys in the world, and yet they picked someone that looks very, very human to play. Because for the movies, for example, they found a load of like pretty boys to play the elves, which is perfect, right? Because that's what we know about elves. They're very beautiful. I don't understand why they couldn't find one guy to play Celebrimbor that looked a bit more elfy. Because the other thing about Celebrimbor is he's not super old. He's not old enough to be getting grey hair and stuff. Because elves do get grey hair. Some of them even grow facial hair, but they're very old. Yeah. But the guy playing Elrond, perfect. Like, he's convincing as an elf. He's got the elfy look. I don't really understand why they couldn't find someone a bit better to play Celebrimbor. Galadriel, I think, again, she's got very... And the guy playing the king, again, I think... In general, I think their casting of the elves was very good. The guy playing... What's his name? Arondir, again, but, like, fine. But just Celebrimbor, I don't know why they decided that rugged was the way to go. I'm not sure that rugged is a word that anybody would ever associate with elves. That was a bit of a weird casting choice, although his acting was great. I also really like the guy playing Durin and Deez. I actually really liked those two. I think they both did an excellent job. But yeah, the halfling just seemed a bit weird, to be honest. He does. He does. I mean, obviously he's a human, but I cannot believe they couldn't find someone sort of more mature looking that looked more like an elf. Like, there are people out there. The other thing that I don't really understand about their casting is, from a logistical point of view, most of the high elves are all of a similar age. Because they won't have all been born at the same time, but a few hundred years doesn't make much difference to an elf. So it's weird that you've got some elves that are really young and, like, of the high elves, they should all be of a similar age looking. So I thought it was weird. I guess they wanted to give him more of an authority figure, but yeah, I thought that was a bit of a weird choice. But the season 2 is a lot better. Yeah, Durin, I think, and the energy between Durin and Elrond is more or less... Yeah, I didn't hate the Hobbit stuff. I just think maybe that could have been maybe a bit later. It don't... The other problem as well, though, is that I'm, like, 90% sure the Great Migration happened after the war started. I could be wrong on that because he never really, like, Tolkien never really spoke much about the origins of hobbits. But I think the Great Migration is happening too early. But the whole timeline is messed up because they're condensing like 2,000 years of history into like everything happening at the same time, which again was a weird choice. They could easily have done all the elf stuff happening, like the stuff with the elves and the southern people and all that stuff, and Galadriel and Sauron and stuff. They could have done all of that stuff in season 1, then skipped forward 1,000 years and had all the stuff with Numenor and all of that stuff. In sort of season 2. It was weird they decided to condense the entire timeline into everything happening at the same time. But yeah, I can't say I hated it. I found it entertaining enough. Not enough, I don't think I'd watch it again. But yeah. But the second season a lot better. The guy playing the Uruk as well, the original Uruk, he was also excellent. Although the guy that got playing him in the second season is also very good. It's a bit of a weird character again. I think maybe that could have been skipped because having the orcs were fully corrupted, and I don't think they would really. He has too much of his elf brain left, which makes no sense. So I don't really understand that either. But yeah. However, what people have to remember is that Tolkien, although he put a timeline of the fall of Numenor and all that stuff, he himself never actually detailed in great detail what happened, at least not in a public-facing way. All of the stuff that we know is from like the Silmarillion stuff, which was his notes that his son finished, and we don't know whether he had changed his mind on anything or. It's something worth bearing in mind. It's like, I'm an author and I write down things all the time, some of which, I mean, I've spoken this on my channel a lot, some of which I never really intend for anyone to see. It's just like, if I need to make something up behind the scenes, what are we looking for? Nothing. Sometimes I just need to make something up behind the scenes, and it's never really intended to be seen by anyone. And so if then I died and someone's like, oh, we're going to release all this stuff, a lot of it either isn't relevant anymore, or it was just like fluff that I just made up so that I had something to base something else on. So I can give you a perfect example of this with my work, is that I came up, so the gods work a bit differently in my world. It's more like, say, Guild Wars, where they're elevated. And I came up with their names and their backgrounds and all that stuff, like who they were in life and things like that. Yeah, so that I would say about Rings of Power is I don't think I've ever had anyone convincingly explain to me why they broke the law. None of it really breaks the law. I did think the fact they made the rings in 5 minutes at the end of the last episode was really stupid. For something that's such a pivotal moment, they could have been more doing that. But I don't think anything really breaks the law other than the crossover events that didn't cross over. Also, I'd say something else that annoys me as well, is Elendil the Tall was nearly 8 feet tall, and yet he's shorter than a lot of the guards in Numenor. I don't understand why they couldn't use camera tricks to make him look 8 feet tall. Because they do it with the hobbits. So I don't understand why they couldn't make him look especially tall. When it's like Isildur's like almost as tall as he is. I do not understand that either. Yeah, the Acolyte. I like the lightsaber fights. I hated just most of it for varying reasons. I thought the Witch Court was cool to begin with, but it started to grate on me in the end. But yeah, it's not like Elendil at all was just a little bit taller. He was like he's like 7'10" or something. He was like nearly 8 feet tall. Like, he was very tall. So, I mean, he went toe-to-toe with Sauron, so yeah, I don't understand why they couldn't have used camera tricks to make him look taller. That, obviously there's no 8 foot tall human, so they couldn't just, at least there's no maybe there's an 8 foot tall human, but no 8 foot tall actors, so yeah, that made no sense to me. But I do like the second season a lot more. The other thing I would say about the first season that I didn't like was they would make other characters look dumb just to make characters look better. I'll give you an example, right? So, this is boring if you've not seen the first season, but the bit where the elves escape from the orcs, right? The elf that they're captured and then they escape, right? They're all veterans of the war. They're not just random, like, you know, bakers. And yet they knew they had the advantage because it was very sunny and the orcs couldn't come out. They couldn't take 5 seconds to come up with a plan. They just decided the best plan was just to randomly run. It makes no sense. They're all warriors. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That annoyed me too. Because in the trailer, she looked like she didn't even use a weapon. Like she kind of used like Ezra's style of fighting, where he used the force in martial arts, which is very cool. But yeah, that I have to say, I felt a bit. I was expecting her to be like one of the main characters. I found a lot of the characters annoying. The only ones I liked was, I think Master Soul was great. His acting is amazing. That guy is such a good actor. I mean, he played the kind of like reserved, obviously he had some darkness in him. The girl they got playing Osha in the other one she had like one emotion. Throughout the entire season, she had one emotion. She really wasn't very good. But yeah, it's yeah, I felt a bit bait and switch with that as well. Where, yeah, all the trailers had her and... Because they clipped bits from, like, the past and also the present, it looked like she was going to be in a lot more. And then she got killed right at the start. And I was like, okay, well, now I feel a bit conned. I thought all of the Jedi that with Master Soul, they got murdered. I thought that was just stupid. Like, it just... Oh, I also like the guy playing the Sith. He's from a show called The Good Place. He played a really stupid character. No, I mean, like, the character was stupid, not the... I mean, the guy who's playing was stupid, not the actor was stupid. So it was a bit of a change to go from that to, like, murdery Sith. But and it's a shame because I really like the High Republic as an era. It's like my second favourite after the Old Republic. But that show was just bizarre. Do you know what it was? Do you know what? Right, this is kind of harsh, but to me it felt a bit like someone's manifesto in like visual form. Like the amount of like political catchwords and stuff that were in it. It felt like this was like a fan show that had just but like by a rich fan that could afford to like hire actors and stuff. Because some of the choices in the direction was like when we saw the Wookiee Jedi, I thought we were gonna have a really cool fight. Wookiee Jedi, really strong. Turned out he just got killed off camera. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like it. I like the lightsaber fighting. I thought that was good, and I thought the assassinations of the various Jedi, except the levitating one, was pretty good. But yeah, like the fight with Cameron Moss. But yeah, I felt a bit let down by that as well. I had fully expected her to be carrying the show. And then the guy, I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy that plays, that played Master Soul, I think he's really good. He did a good job. But he was kind of absent from a lot of the media. So maybe, yeah, it feels like they used her to get people watching because they realized they didn't have such a great show. That's what it feels like to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it felt like to me. Like, it felt like to me is that, not so much the person that made it, I'm sure they thought they did an amazing job. But it felt to me like, yeah. I don't know. It did feel like someone's like, I don't know. I watched it all, but I can't say that when I heard that it was cancelled, I was like, yeah, probably for the best. I had real hopes for the Old Republic show. Hey, Solus! Speaking of Solus, are you looking forward to Veilguard? The Dread Wolf himself. Oh, the Elven God's gone nuts. To Dragon Age Veilguard. No, your name just made me think of Solus from that. I don't know if I'm excited for it or not. I like the first one a lot. The second one I hate for all the reasons. The third one I think was really good, but I didn't like the story. The gameplay and stuff I really liked. Ah, you should. No, I wasn't saying. I was just asking in general if people are looking forward to it. And that's why I said your name reminded me of that. There was a guy in an anime I used to watch called Solus back in like the 90s. I think the anime was from the 80s. I don't think it was a particularly original name. For them, I don't know when you came up with it. Maybe you are the original Solus. I'm definitely the original Kip. It was actually one of the nice things from the Mordor is I got all my names back. What's the red quest? Ah, I need another Walktail. Yeah, so I'm not... I don't know. There was so much weird stuff with the... I'll tell you something that actually annoyed me in... Oh, nice! Yeah, I really like that. Did you get the bird companion in the end? Like I told you about the like hidden bird that you could get. Well, I didn't tell you it was a bird, but like the hidden crew members. Nice. So did I. The bird's my favorite. He's the most important. He just wants to be a sailor again. But his master's too old to be a sailor again, so he wants to go. Which I think is very cute. But the end is sad. Do you know what, though? When the end said his pet bird was missing, or his friend bird was missing, I immediately thought that quest in Rohan, where the bird's dead. That, by far, is the only quest in Lotro that actually made me sad. That quest was so freaking sad. Why'd you have to do that, Lotro? Why'd you have to make sad quests where there's dead birds? Yes, I know we murder lots of birds, but they're evil birds. So, they're not cute birds that are friends with Ents. I'm done with all these quests. Bit of a moan about some of the repairs. Yeah! Yeah, I like the companion quests. I felt in general they really thought each of them. I do agree in general. I think there are a lot of like kill 4 things and come back, but the 4 things are really far away. I think there's some amount of like filler quests to be expected in a game as big as Lotro, but compared to like Gundabad, I felt like they put more effort. But I felt the same about Before the Shadow. I felt that was a bit lazy at times too.
Woe to me.
I don't really care what I take because I don't need any of it.
I'm sorry.
We do need
Did you
get
need
tool case.
something?
I don't need tools on this guy, but my Beyond does.
I'm sorry.
What,
Did
Clay?
you
Oh, no, my Clay's
need something? Can't you leave me
Have
to
you,
my misery?
So you've not started on like the patch stuff then?
I don't know if you can help me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Compared to like Gundabad, which it had filler quests, but they always felt very like expertly woven in. Yeah, so it was like released monthly or weekly or something. Like the Kindred of the Coin stuff. I can't remember the name of it. I did it all when it came out. 1 second, I'll check for you. I just searched for Lotro, DDO. That's not correct. So it was like, yeah, I think, yeah, it's like episodic quests. They're all out now.
I'm sorry.
Did you see that they're going to do a preview of new expansion zones, by the way? Also something I'm very excited for.
You solved the riddle and found the treasure?
I
don't believe it.
There was a post about it today. I think it's starting on Friday. Let me check for you. We are kicking off with the preview season with a special episode. We have a cave troll. It was yesterday apparently. don't know why I thought it was Friday.
You beat the
But yeah, they're doing some like going through some of the new areas. I haven't seen it yet.
Woe to me.
Yeah, I know. I missed it too. Although their streams always happen like in the middle of like my time, so I always get them the next day anyway.
I'm sorry. Did you need something?
Making
I'm sure
stuff.
it'll do no good, but may I speak with you?
What damage?
What do you need? Woe be me.
One of these days, I kind of wish they would go
Sorry,
through
Daddy.
and like upgrade all these items. I'll do it for you, Lotro, for free. I'll go through and find all upgrade
I
all these
think you
items to
gave
being
Theodore the best treasure of all.
better
A
quality.
reason to keep going. I have been trying to help Theodore unravel this latest cryptic message.
Geese, goblins, spiders.
My brother, my deputy. Okay.
Maybe you can figure it out.
I do the same, to be honest. It's the same in all games. It's like DDO recently had an expansion, and people kept asking me like, what do I think of the new quests? I'm like, oh, I don't play them. For a few reasons. Firstly, because I don't really have time to. I barely have time to do the stuff I want to do in games already without adding going on to like private servers. And like private servers, like test servers. And the second thing is that I kind of want my first impression to be on stream. I don't think it's really got the same thing like when you've already done stuff, even if stuff changes before launch. So I generally don't. So it's that. But I've never like. Oh crap! I didn't mean to go this way. I've never really been one for playing on test servers and stuff. Just occasionally in EverQuest 2 I did, because they gave rewards, and so if they wanted something testing, the reward was something relatively straightforward. Like they just wanted to level through. There was one bit where they were like revamping low levels, and they wanted you to. That I do, but I don't really want to spoil the new content for myself with stuff that's half finished. So in DDO I did look at some screenshots of the wilderness because I was curious, but I didn't. Same with Umbar. Actually, in Umbar I don't think I saw anything except the like the loading screen art to use the stream. Yeah, I'm trying to think when the last time I played. So I played Lamania for DDO because the PR company that works with SSG asked me if I wanted to be part of a streamer preview of like the new class and stuff. I was like, sure. So I did that. Did like a 2-hour stream. That was fun. So for like testing out new class and stuff, I don't mind, but not so much new content. Because I want it to be nice and fresh when I do it on my. Yeah. I have to be honest, I think SSG is its own worst enemy at times. Yeah. Sorry, SSG, I love you and I love the games you make, but I think that you're your own worst enemies. I'll give you an example of why I think that. I think both DDO and Lotro would make way more money if they just hired some artists to make cosmetics and sold them. There are so many people, including me, that are willing to spend like considerable money on good cosmetics. And yet, it's like an untapped market because a lot of the cosmetics that they sell are either part of bundles which are very expensive. I'm not going to use the word overpriced because I think everybody determines their own value of those. And I mean, I buy Ultimate Editions of expansions, so I can't really complain. But the problem is like, I'll give you an example. So these patron coffers they do. I can't really say in Lotro because I bought the rakish one with 3 points. And the Mirkwood, I bought the cheapest one with 3 points that I got just because I wanted this. Because it looks very pretty. I guess I have to. But it's not very captainy. But in general, I think they should do some stuff like that, but release it separately. Because I think they'd get a lot more money in if they released armor sets, like high quality armor sets, like the this one from Before the Shadow. But sort of, oh crap, I didn't do the bingo quest. Yeah, so I think partly they're to blame. I think Neverwinter, although they put out less content than DDO, I think they're a lot better at monetization. So yeah, I think SSG, or I don't even know if it's SSG or whoever owns the company, I think they're partly to blame for that. I don't know if it would make DDO more popular and Lotro more popular, but I definitely think, I know, like, it's anecdotal from my stream and stuff that people are always saying, give an example, people who wanted a Paladin glowy weapon cosmetic in DDO since they started selling, like, cosmetic weapons, in the same way that people wanted a light one for Captain in this, but they did add one. I think it requires level 30 though, which is a bit weird, but they did add one. This one. I don't understand why they're not fulfilling that. They bring out the coffers, and I guarantee they make good money from those. So, I mean, that's what all Path of Exile makes their money on, really, is cosmetics. So I don't understand why they don't lean into that more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or there's a lot of people wanting the Swan Knight's mount. I can't say it's to my liking, because I like the Elks. But, yeah, I don't understand why they just don't do more of that stuff. I mean, I know that it's expensive to get an artist in to make it, but I guarantee they make money on that, right? It just... I don't know why they don't. If anything, DDO should be easier than Lotro, because DDO is high fantasy. So you can have big glowy weapons and big glowing armor and kind of like that over-the-top shiny stuff like Path of Exile has, and it still fit because magical equipment and magical weapons are super common in DDO land, or in Dungeons & Dragons, right? Pretty much every adventurer's got a magic weapon of some kind. Lotro is a bit harder, but... yeah, it's... yeah, exactly. Guild Wars 2, Path of Exile, both of which are sustained more or less completely on expansion sales and... I mean, Path of Exile doesn't sell expansions, but like Guild Wars is sustained on kind of box sales, expansion sales, and cosmetics. I don't understand why. Warframe as well. Warframe makes a lot of their money on cosmetics because people are willing to pay a lot. The other problem I think that I'd say Lotro has more than DDO, because like DDO is high fantasy, so there's a lot more room there to add these over-the-top glowing stuff and it still fit. I think the one of the problems that Lotro has specifically is that when they release new outfit, because the new outfits are so few and far between, the really good ones, everybody ends up wearing the same thing, and that puts people off wearing them. I think if yeah, I just think they should, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of the cosmetics in both games that you can buy for like real money are terrible. Not so much the patron coffers and that stuff, they're all really good. Some of them aren't to my liking, but they're all really good. But yeah, some of the...
Solve the message? Oh, let me see that treasure.
yeah, some of them really are terrible.
Now, I will keep looking for
Yeah.
things, and you should see if Unlock needs help with anything.
Can't you leave me?
I can tell you now, not to take sales away from SSG, but if there's any things in the Lotro store that you like that's not part of coffers, but like just from the actual Lotro store, there are better versions available for free in the game. There just are. A lot of that stuff is super old, hasn't been updated, and it's not even like they need to release full sets. Why not just like every month just release like 5 new cloaks or 5 new, like just like do like one like armor, just do like one chest piece per armor set, and then like 2 that are kind of like middle ground. So you've got 1 plate, 1 media like leather, 1 light leather, and then you've got one that's like a mix of plate and cloth like this is, and then one that's like a mix of leather and cloth, and like kind of do it, and then just over the course of like, and just do that like weekly, and then over the course of a few months you're building up entire sets, and you know, price them all individually and stuff like that. And then people can mix and match and have them all die in a similar way. So if somebody wants to wear like, you know, heavy pauldrons, which is the look I like. I like heavy pauldrons and like gloves, but then with a lighter looking body. You like that's what I would do if I was in charge of SSG. I definitely lean more into the and in DDO again mounts. Like Lotro, you've got elks, boars, horses, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else that people would be riding, so they are more limited there. I guarantee it. And there's only so many different looks of horses that I need. But in DDO, people ride all kinds of things. There's so many magical mounts. There's so many different things. You know, enchanted creatures. They could really just go nuts and just release them and make them, you know. Yeah. Or like some really ornate weapons. That's one thing I think Lotro could do with some like really ornate weapon
I'm sure it will
designs.
do no good, but
Oops.
may I speak with you?
No, you may not.
Woe be me.
So that's what I think a mistake they make is that I don't know if it's just that they don't have the money to invest in making cosmetics, therefore it's kind of that, or if you know maybe it's just not as popular to Lotro players as I think it would be. There's also that. There must be a reason they're not doing it. I don't want a turbine, at least in case of DDO. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And like the Tharang sword, Thrang. I don't know how you pronounce his name. That sword is very popular because it's unique and it's interesting. I got the Mirkwood sword with the. I just bought the cheapest one because I wanted the aura more than anything. But like the Mirkwood sword looks super pretty. I think I might delete it because it wasn't going to be used on this guy. But he's not going to be on. I deleted a lot of stuff on this guy that I'm not going to use because it's all bound to accounts, so I can just pick up the account and get it if I need it. So I think it's a shame they don't kind of focus, and then they could reduce the price of content. And I don't know. There's a reason why like Guild Wars 2 and Path of Exile make so much money, and Warframe. Avatars are being worked on. They're kind of doing them slowly over time. Environment, yes and no. They upgraded the engine so that they can make better looking stuff now. And so the newer stuff looks amazing. But they haven't gone back and redone a lot of older stuff unless it was things that shared assets. So a good example is a while ago, they redid a lot of like barrels and crates and stuff. And that proliferated through the entire game. Yeah, that was a big problem. Although that can be true in Lotro as well. Although then you go to Umbar, which is a really nice change. So it's all bright and... I think in Lotro, though, I don't think it was that Lotro in general is brown. I think it's just we had a bunch of expansions in a row that just happened to be brown. Because we had like Mordor and that stuff, which is very brown, and like Minas Morgul, and then we had like War in the Three Peaks, which is all mountains, and then we had Gundabad, which is mountains, and then we had Before the Shadow, which is nice and colourful. So I don't think it's so much that Lotro isn't colourful. I think it's more that Lotro, it just had a bunch of expansions in a row that just happened to be in environments that weren't very colourful, rather than it being... Because like Dunland, Rohan, Gondor, all of them are very bright and colourful, so I think it was just... yeah. But they've said the next expansion, which is going to be around here, if we can go to Barabel there, so like this way, isn't as colourful as Umbar, which is a bit sad because I really like the whole tropical nature of Umbar, but yeah, it's near water, so that makes sense. It'd make less sense for it to be bright and colourful in the desert. So we'll see. Yeah, that was actually one thing that they spoke about yesterday, because I read the notes. They said that's a difficult thing because they don't want to resort to... But we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do. Ultimately, that's... Yeah. So that's I think how I would play it. Because you got to remember, so up until Umbar, we'd been in places that were like the enemies were coming to us, and so you'd have areas that weren't very affected, like Dol Amroth, for example, and then you'd have places that were more affected, like sort of going east of Dol Amroth into like Lascalaire and stuff, and like Ithilien. So. But now we're going to the enemy's territory, so we've got the opposite, which is a lot of their stuff is going to be their style. So I think I'd play it like that. Like, as the war's gone on and they've said more and more, they've had to resort more and more to kind of, like, make do and mend. And so there's stuff everywhere, and that's how I would play it, because that way you can realistically keep it interesting and indifferent without it just being just varying shades of yellow. So that's how I would do it. But then I don't know what zones we're going to or what the theme is there, so there's got to be an oasis. I 100% expect that. An oasis would be cool.
Well met.
Like, you go through a desert and then one of the zones is based around an oasis or the city, and so it's a nice change. That's actually one thing I will say. Both World of Warcraft and also Final Fantasy XIV were both incredibly good at doing, which was variation in...
Are you looking for something, friend?
like variation in even if it didn't really make much sense sometimes. Like, especially World of Warcraft had this habit of really campaigning everything together. Condensing, that's the word, not campaigning. I don't know, he reunites all of the Southlands under Gondor, so we've still got a long way to go, but the problem is that a lot of the Southlands were ruled by dictators, so once you take them out of the way, they're probably yeah, it is, exactly. And Final Fantasy also has problems like elemental spread and stuff, so you've like kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, another really good example of where they can really just mash together a load of different environments, and it totally makes sense. One thing I've always wanted to see in DDO, and something I think would make an excellent expansion, is like a War of the Plains, where all the plains start bleeding into the material realm, and so you have like there's some areas like that in DDO. There's a place called Meridian, where Lamania and another plane, I don't remember which one, Shavrath, I think, kind of bleeding out into the material realm. And I think an expansion based around like a war between the planes would be amazing. You could have, you could have a bunch of quests that take place outside of the planes in areas where the planes are kind of bleeding through. And then sort of, you could kind of end up going into the plane of, like, imagine you had like, say, 3 quests that were dealing with problems of the fire plane spreading out into, which is Fernia, spreading out into the world. It's Fernia? No, Rizia's eyes. And then the last quest was like you go to the plane of fire and sort of do stuff there. I think that would be a really amazing expansion for the DDO, because you would have so much opportunity to explore a lot of different like styles. Yeah. So that's one thing I will say about DDO that I've always said. Once they got permission to use Forgotten Realms, they got the best part of Forgotten Realms. Like, Neverwinter and the Sword Coast is famous because of Baldur's Gate, but like the sort of areas like Cormyr and Cormanthor and stuff that DDO got access to is so rich in. I'll give you an example. So Fey Warlocks originated from the elves that. When Mithranor was destroyed, the elves went one of 2 ways. Half of them went into the Feywild and caused the problems in the Feywild. I guess more the grievances in the Feywild than problems. And then sort of the rest of them went to like a village in Cormanthor and started it. I think it was called Moon something. Can find out. And yeah, it's it'd be interesting to go there and to be like see sort of the origin of like Fey Warlocks, for example. Yeah. And it's nice that they get the ability to do the new campaign stuff as well. Like, Feywilds and Ravenloft and that stuff. I'd really like to... So, they put out a survey like a year ago, asking people where they'd like to go next. And on there was Sigil from Planescape. That would be an amazing expansion. That genuinely would be so unique. And Planescape's got a lot of kind of like even to this day, Planescape Torment still has people that still play it like regularly. It's like still a very popular setting. So if they could go there and kind of that, yeah, it is. And people still to this day play it, and it's still very popular. So if DDO went to Sigil, it would be that would be a really good opportunity for them to kind of lure in people that might not have kind of gravitated towards, people that want more of Sigil. I love Planescape Torment. I like that there's so many different ways you can play it. Like my first character there was kind of like a mage, but he was like not very good at actually fighting. But he could more or less talk his way out of anything.
Would you do something for me?
And then I played Torment Tides of Numera, and it was
Greetings,
very different. Went for a similar vibe, but very different.
How can I be of service?
Right, we are now in North Downs.
I don't know anything, I'm sure. I don't know if you can help me.
Alright.
Could I speak with
There was the option of the Ravenloft content, which I always think would be a great idea. Yeah. The annoying thing I would say about Planescape for me is that they released like an enhanced edition on like the consoles that had controller support, and yet the PC enhanced edition doesn't have controller support. Most single player games I play on my Steam Deck. And it's just a very small gripe. It's not really Planescape's fault, but I don't know why they didn't add controller support to... No, DDO got Ravenloft as well, so any campaigns that... They each have their section of the world, but any campaigns outside of that, they both have. So they both got Feywild, they both got Ravenloft. They got the Dragon Cult stuff, though DDO didn't really do that much with it, which was a bit weird. I don't know if Neverwinter's done Mythra or not. What am I looking for? Oh, I need to find another barrel. This I don't play on a controller, but gaming in general I do. I just have so much experience playing on controllers that I find it a lot easier. I have a friend that's always like, oh, like, when I was streaming, like, Elden Ring, people were like, why is it Xbox controllers? Like, oh, I use an Xbox controller. They're like, why? I'm like, because for most of my... When I was younger and stuff, my PC was only really used to play MMOs. Most single-player games I always got on PlayStation.
How can I be of service?
So I got so used to playing, like, those sort of games, like Dark Souls and stuff, on a controller. The only game I would say...
Stay a moment.
So, it depends on the class you play. I set up Warden to work quite well on a controller. The problem is that the UI is really tiny on a Steam Deck, so that was a bit of a problem. The other problem as well is that most classes don't have as few abilities as like a Warden or a Mariner or Brawler. So like trying to play like a Captain or a Lawmaster or a Runekeeper or something, or like a Minstrel would be a lot harder. I mean, you could totally... Final Fantasy's proven that you can make it a full MMO playable on a keyboard, on a controller, but it would need official support. It's not really the sort of thing that you can do with modding software unless you're really committed. And I tried it just because people kept asking like if you could, and I always knew that there had been people that did, but I found it a bit weird to play. But I don't know if that was just because I'm... Yeah. I'm sure if someone took the time to make a reasonable control scheme, I'd find it a lot easier. I just don't. As much as I like playing control, I don't think maybe I'm the best one to come up with that. But I mean, if anybody knows of a profile for one of the popular PC to controller things, I would definitely be up for giving it a go. And it would be nice to be able to play DDO and Ultra in bed sometimes. I think DDO will actually be easier than Lotro though, because in DDO there's loads of builds where you can avoid using a lot of skills. I mean, pretty much any like melee you can largely build around auto attack. Yeah, I don't have any of the bigger modding software, so it's possible that someone has made one. But Steam Deck had some. So Steam's got like it uses emulated controller as well. It's got its own software, and people make profiles that you can download. And some games they're amazing, and some games they're just not. It's very hit and miss based on the people. So I play a game called Nevergrind, which is like a old school dungeon crawler game that I really enjoy. There's no quests, no. Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's any way to use those profiles on Steam. Maybe if you have a Steam controller, but I don't think there's any way to make it work on other controllers. Because the Steam Deck still uses a Steam controller. So I mean, it's a deconstructor built into the device, but it's still a Steam controller. So I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I don't think I've ever tried. Because before I got the Steam Deck, I rarely played those like games that didn't have controller support. I just wouldn't use a controller. So with the Steam Deck, I don't have the choice. Man, today's stream's gone by so quickly. But if you do have any success, let me know. I'm definitely I enjoyed it. The problem is it's a huge amount of commitment. If you want to be competitive at that game, it's a huge commitment if you don't want to pay for stuff. Like DDO level of commitment. And I'm already so committed to DDO anyway. I just don't have the time or the... But I really enjoy it. But I just like Dungeons & Dragons. Like, even the not so good Dungeons & Dragons games I enjoy. Like Pool of Radiance, everyone seems to hate that game, but I really liked it. But I think I liked it because it was Dungeons & Dragons. I think it had been just a random fantasy IP. I don't think I would have liked it as much. I just really like Dungeons & Dragons, like the lore. So anything that that kind of expands on that is it's kind of like Star Wars. It's the same with Star Wars. I just really like Star Wars, and so even not so great games. Same with like Warhammer 40k. I think I played most Warhammer 40k games because I just really like the lore, and so yeah. Do you think we could take a Mournful Wraith? Be nice when I'm level. Should we try? Let's use the tanking pet. Yeah. So DDO is funny because DDO is it uses 3.5 combined with like fifth, which is weird. We might make it. I'm dying though. Do I have a premium potion? No. We didn't make it. Oh, and healed. Yeah. That was my bad. I probably could have made it if I had actually used the thingy to heal. Pet to heal. you guys help me? No. I really want to kill one of these mournful wraiths, but Yeah, I actually haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 in a while, but I saw someone released a mod called Fantastical Races, I think, that allows you to play as a kobold. So when modding support comes out, they're going to look at adding like racial text to it. Did it despawn? Yeah, cool. I can just pretend I killed it. So I'm very interested in trying a kobold paladin playthrough. But I'm really excited for, because the thing is about those sort of games, it was the same with Neverwinter Nights, which was another game series I really like. Just adding new classes and adding like new builds and stuff really really expands like the playthrough ability. I mean, these games have so much replay value anyway, but then adding in new classes and new races and stuff like that really adds an extra dimension of like replays, so really enjoy that.
What do you need?
What do I need? A hug.
Greetings. Stay a moment.
Greetings. Might I take a moment of your time?
Yeah, there's that. And they also made the talent system a lot more straightforward. They had a really good in-depth talent system before, very much like World of Warcraft's original, like Lotros. And then they removed it and added like kind of like WoW's second attempt, which was just at certain levels you pick stuff, which I liked a lot less. They also made it so that classes now have defined roles rather than being a bit more fluid. Yeah, that actually makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. That I think actually was a good thing. But yeah,
What do you need? Can I speak with you a moment?
not doing that quest. It's too hard. I don't have good gear. I do need pre-rep
Will you
though.
help me?
Those things stuck in my teeth. But yeah, that's what I didn't like is I think we'll do these quests and then go see how much I can level crafting, because yeah, I agree. I think I know they won't do it because going back and changing old zones doesn't make much sense when they can't sell them for new money, if that makes sense. But I really wish they would. I wish they would hire someone whose job it was literally just goes back to old zones and improve the rewards and kind of take out some of the annoying quests. The Shire, for example, I really like the Shire, but they really need to reduce the amount of quests needed for the deed and make it more like... I know the Shire's got a lot of quests, because a lot of them are just talk to people, but still it's very disorientating to have to do quite so many quests. That's not the right word, but you get what I mean. That's what I like about Mordor, because it's going to give me a chance to do a lot of that stuff without feeling the need to just head towards max level to actually get groups. One of the biggest reasons why I tend to... Someone asked me this on stream when before I started Mordor, I was leveling a Warden. Someone asked me like why I tend to go through things quite quickly, and it's like, well, I like playing in groups, and there just aren't groups at low level. Like, don't get me wrong, if you want to do, like, say, Moria deeds, there will always be people that want to do it, but they'll want to bring high levels. And so, in a lot of cases, it's kind of just you, like, following along and looting. So, the thing with Mordor, the server, not the Allegiance grind, was that it's going to allow me to do a lot of that stuff, like the Mordor Allegiance stuff, without feeling the need to really rush forward. Because there'll be plenty of time. Since I don't really do endgame raiding in that way and stuff like that, it's going to give me a lot of time at max level to really kind of get caught up at every... in theory. Yeah, that's another pet peeve of mine. The experience disable should just be a skill that's by default. It should just be a toggle that everyone gets. Or make it like VIP only or something. Because the fact it takes up an item slot to disable XP is really stupid in my opinion. But like, yeah, I've tried really hard to not go too nuts with doing deeds when I didn't need to, but it's ludicrous how much stuff I end up doing. That is another pet peeve of mine as well, on the subject of pet peeves, is the fact that a lot of the newer stuff doesn't give as much deed XP, and I really don't understand why. Because, here's the thing, people will argue like there's already so much deed XP, that is true, but the point is, most people aren't going to complete everything in the game. And so when you add new stuff that gives less deed XP, all you're doing is forcing people to go back and do stuff, and not everybody wants to play that way. There's already benefits to maxing out every virtue. Is it worth it if you're like a casual player to max out every deed? No. The amount of statistical bonuses added together aren't enough where anyone's going to care if you've done it or not, right? It's just not. That's just the blunt truth. Is unless you're playing like high level, as in like high tier raids or something, the extra few thousand health or whatever from health virtues or the little bit of extra whatever physical, it's just not really going to make that much difference. The problem with them adding new content that doesn't give much deed XP, a good example of this is Before the Shadow, right? Yeah, you can do Before the Shadow and then go back and do the Shire and Ered Luin and stuff to get deed XP and Lowlands and this and whatever. But you're forced to do that because Before the Shadow doesn't give much. If anything, Before the Shadow should give more so that you're at an appropriate level deed virtue-wise. I think I did, when it first came out, I was playing a character I'd already started leveling. But I think as a test, I did is it a Bjorn? Maybe a Burglar. Before the Shadow, and all I did was Before the Shadow. And I didn't even have one maxed virtue by the end. I had spread the stuff out though to unlock the other ones, but yeah, it's ludicrous how low it. And it's like, but the whole point is people shouldn't have to farm everything. Yeah. Well, the most ludicrous thing I think is that there's some deeds in Before the Shadow that literally just give nothing, like nothing at all. Which is, I don't understand why they thought that was good. Like, is it fourth? Yeah. Like the first, these, no reward whatsoever. So if you're going to do that, why not just add an extra 30 kills or whatever to the second, just have one tier? Same here. Like, if you're not going to give a title, you're not going to give Lotro points, you're not going to give virtue, what is the point in having a tier that gives no reward? Just make one. Just make one tier. Like some of the later quests have just one tier. Well, so I tell you one change I'd like to see. I'd like to see virtues uncapped in terms of how much you can earn, not in terms of how much. So imagine there was like 3 settings for virtues. The first settings, it works as it is now. You max out one, then go to the next, then max out one and go to the next, max out one and go to the next. That works fine, right? And if that's what you like, great. The second one is, and then it will hold any XP until you level up on the virtue. The second one is your virtues will be uncapped. And so you can level your virtues up as far as you want, but they're only effective to half your level as it is now. So it's not like you'd end up any more powerful, right? My virtues are capped at what, 12? Yeah, 12. So I even if I could level them up to whatever the max currently is, 87 I think, you couldn't go beyond 12. Like, in effect, you couldn't go beyond 12, so you wouldn't be any more powerful. that way, as it is now, you can, but and that would then, it would do the same. It would do as it is now. It would max 1 to 12, then max the next one to 12, and then eventually it would just go into over. It start putting into other ones. And then the third thing I think would be, which I think would be the best, is that it would just automatically share them between them. So when you get a deed thing, rather than it being 2,000 or 1,000 to the first virtue, it would just be like 400 or 200 to each virtue that you have equipped. Or you could even make a system where you can select 5 virtues that you have equipped, and then 5 virtues that you that you want to level up. That's how I would do it. I'd have it so that instead of like getting 1 virtue for doing a deed, yeah. So because what it would mean is that you would have a more variable. You could even choose, right? Do you want to split the XP between 2, 3, whatever? I mean, maybe that wouldn't work as much because the virtue gains, at least in terms, I think items would have to work as they are now, but in terms of deed XP, it's always 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000. So it'd have to be something that was, yeah. So maybe because like 3, you can't divide 2,000 by 3 and get a whole number. So maybe it would have to be split between 5, but you could choose whether you wanted to just level 1 or split between 5. So if you're specifically like, for example, I wanted to level up loyalty for my healing build, I could be like, okay, I just want to level loyalty and nothing else. Or I could be like, actually, I don't want to level loyalty, I just want to level my equipped ones. I think that would be a good system. And that way, you're not going to end up with 1 maxed and the rest all at 0. Because the fact is, I'm going to be honest, not everyone does as much deeds as I do, but having like 1 at 12 and the rest all at like 3 makes it makes no sense. Because the point is you need all the stats. That's why you're leveling them. So being able to split the XP, it would be a choice though, because if people like it as it currently is, then they could just keep that. But I think having the option to split between the 5 would benefit me better, because I would rather have them all level up slower, but then get a level in each of them at the same time. Because I need all the stats. I want some crit from this, and I want the physical mastery from this, and I want the might from this, and also the tactical defense against, yeah.
You startled me.
Oh, that's a big upgrade. It has will on it, which is less than ideal, but
Will you help me?
yeah. I don't know how easy it is to change stuff like that, though. Although they did their legacy, the old virtue system was terrible. That was even worse.
Friend.
I don't know if you were playing back then, but the fact you have to do specific deeds for specific virtues was so stupid, and there was no benefit to
Can I speak with you a moment?
there was no benefit to virtues you didn't have equipped. And the other thing as well was it was before Lotro points. So it's not even like you basically got nothing. If you didn't need the virtue, if you were a minstrel and you got like zeal, it wouldn't benefit you. Half the virtues were just useless because they gave like nothing that you really needed. I mean, some of them are still like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone running justice, because in combat morale regen is not very useful. You have to get so much of it for it to be useful. Although I think it's vaguely more useful now that they changed it from being like over a minute to being like a tick, but yeah, I still don't think it's super good. But yeah, it's the old system was useless. They added Lotro points because the game went free to play, and then at least you got something for doing the deeds. At least you got some Lotro points. But yeah. I like the vote, but I would like to have the ability to split XP between all my equipped virtues rather than one at a time. Yeah. Because the benefit of that as well would be if they were uncapped, then if you were someone that didn't, like, they just played one build, so just wanted one set of things, they could keep leveling them up. And you might say, well, that way they don't level up any other ones, and that's true, but also these, I mean, this I've got 2 points in capacity to give me 5 extra morale. Like, it's not helpful. Yeah, I like that. I don't think, and to be fair, I'm complaining, but I don't think virtues are. I don't think it's a terrible thing. I do think it's a bit of a trap that people get into, especially now that before the Shadow is free to play, in that they underlevel their virtues, but especially at low level when gear's not that great. Like this, I think this is giving me like how much crit rating do I have? So it's giving me like almost a fifth of my crit. So it's like having an extra piece of gear. Legendaries were an excellent change. I kind of wish they were still more customizable than they are in terms of the actual weapons. But I hated the old system. The old system was so rubbish. And the problem as well was that if you were like new to the game, it was a lot of effort to get your legendaries like leveled up and on par. And if you weren't new to the game, it was really easy to get like a perfect one. Whereas now I like the you kind of keep the same weapon and you're not constantly on the lookout. And my inventory is no longer being filled up with you know, 13 classes. I don't know how many classes there are, but all the classes different legendaries. So all things considered, I yeah. And the other thing as well was you'd get like a first stage, but then you wouldn't get any of the things you needed. So then you could get like it was nice to get like a first stage weapon, especially if you were like using tokens to buy from Turtle or whatever, and then it would have all the wrong stats, and then you'd have to. It felt very clunky because like I'll give you an example. I remember once yeah, exactly. I got what class were they? I'll say Guardian, I can't actually remember. I got them to 50 and got the 46 and got the legendary weapon. And it actually got three things like that actually were useful. And it felt so good. But then I remembered that like 99% of the time you got mostly useless things. You'd get, you know, taunt duration or something on a DPS Guardian, or you'd get, you know, shield use. I mean, you always had shield use, but I mean, that didn't even do anything. Like, yeah, it all felt really, really random. But it felt good when you got ones you actually wanted, like you got Rallying Cry on a Captain Emblem or whatever. But it was just a bad system, to be honest. I think it was a good system when the cap was 60, because ultimately, you know, you were like realistically you were only upgrading your weapon maybe 3 or 4 times. But as they added more systems to it over time and things, it did get very clunky. So I much preferred the thing now, where you just pick what you want. I would like it if there was more choice. I think maybe they should add like 5 or 6 new traceries for each class. Maybe to add some more interesting stuff. So an idea I had a while ago that I said on stream was like, imagine if there was like a new slot that was like, I don't know what you call it, but like legendary passive. And basically it would give you something like strong, like these kind of bonuses. So for example, I mean, this already exists, so you can't use this, but like, it would modify a skill specifically. So like, for example, this makes Rallying Cry restore power. I mean, it already exists, so it won't be that, but just something like that, something that like modifies the skill. For example, Mariner has one that turns its debuff pot into a DPS ability. Imagine that. Imagine if there was a skill that turned the Burning Embers from Lawmaster into a melee skill, right? That's still scaled with all the same stuff, and the damage very similar, but it changed the play. Like, I think they should add that. 1 slot per weapon, or 1 for the weapon, 1 for the emblem. The weapon would always be a damage ability of some kind. And the class item or the ranged weapon, or in the case of Hunter, it'd be melee weapon, but like the off weapon, in the case of people that get 2 weapons, would be like a utility skill or a heal or a taunt or whatever, something that didn't do damage. But all of the weapon ones, the main legendary ones, would be like a red DPS skill.
Will you stay a moment and learn of my...
Maybe there's the exception of like healing specific specs.
Hello there.
It's like the way I imagine it is if they added 5 per class per item, you'd have 1 for each tree. Maybe a general utility one for like Minstrel and Warden that only have 2 trees. And then you'd have like 2 more generic things. So like for a captain, for Hands of Healing, it might be something that say modifies, just an example, like modifies Valor from being just a heal for your shield brother into a less heal for the whole group or something. But then there'd be a general which might be, you know, Rallying Cry now heals less instantly but more over time. Like, I would really like that. I mean, healers are a bad example because you can't really make them super good, but like weapons you could really Sure Strike, turn it into an AoE, or like there's so much you could do to really improve, not improve, but just give other options. I think they should do that to kind of add some freshness to legendaries. Like, make it so that, but it would be more of a widespread change than, say, current legacies. It'd be more like the Mariner one that changes the skill completely into a different skill. I think that would be, I would like that. What time are we on? Ah, I ran over. Yeah. So the way I would do it is I'd do like 1 per spec per item, and then 2 kind of more general to skills that all the specs get. So like Rallying Cry would be a good one for captain, and then like maybe like Make Haste or Routing Cry or something. Just so, yeah. So the one for the spec would be a spec specific ability or spec specific skill. And the general ones would be skills that all the specs have. Wouldn't necessarily have to be the specialization skill specifically, so it wouldn't necessarily have to be Valiant Strike or Shadow's Lament or Hammer Stroke, whatever. You know, you could easily have it affect something in the tree, like the banner, for example, as a general skill or whatever, because they're all going to get one. Yeah, hopefully. I think that would be really cool. I mean, I give you another example that I thought for Captain specifically for a general skill, one that turns Sure Strike into like a second ranged attack. He turns it into like Sure Shout or something. Nothing really changes. Damage is similar. It still gives the same stuff. It just gets the same range as Battle Shout. That would give them like a long range spammable ability that would help a lot for like doing deeds and stuff. Things like that. They wouldn't all necessarily have to be like power increases. They could just like change things up. Like I said about the Burning Embers Lawmaster skill, turn it into a melee attack. Because some Lawmasters, including me, just really like the melee like class fantasy. So being able to change 1 or 2 of the skills from... The actual skill would work the same way. The scaling would be the same. It wouldn't... Not all of them would have to increase power, shall we say. Just add some variety. You could do the same with Minstrel. You could make the ballad turn to melee attacks. You know, because back in the day, obviously the Minstrel was like a close range fighter. That you wore medium armor and yeah, hit stuff. I always thought they should have done that with Yellow for Minstrel. They should have made Yellow Minstrel a bit like Warden. So you specialize in Yellow Minstrel, you get a stance like, you know, Songblade stance that turns all of your damage abilities into melee attacks that scale with the weapon. And you'd still get the like half damage, half healing feel. So the idea would be you're not a full healer, you're not a full DPS, you're somewhere in the middle, really focused around, say, like dungeons that just need an extra person to help out, or something along those lines. Yeah. Anyway, I have to go because I'm now taking up more time on the channel. I am going to take a break and then might stream on my channel. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to stream before. It's getting a bit late. My plan was originally to stream the 2 hours here and then do 2 hours on my channel, but then that's getting a bit late, so... Yeah, I might take a break and then stream. If not, I will catch you all tomorrow for some DDO on my channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really enjoy streaming on this channel. I will link my channels if you guys want to follow me or, you know, hurl abuse at me. But if not, I will catch you next Thursday for further Hobbit adventures. Bye!